Good morning. Welcome to Options Center. It is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. We are taking a look at an intraday analysis, and I wanted to update you kind of going into the weekend, what we're thinking. Just to give you kind of a scenario that I'm looking at. I already started hedging to the upside. Why did I do that? It's this grindy price action. Everything looks good to the bearish side. Okay, everything appears to be working as expected. We're getting out of some ranges, but we're messing with the 8 EMA on the daily for SPY and the 8 EMA on QQQ, and I'll show you all that. So we're going to go through SPY, QQQ on the daily time frames and the 65-minute charts, and just show a few indicators and kind of give you my thoughts going into next week. All right. So if you're new here, well, this is a members video. I'll introduce this later to the public. But if you're new here and you're just now seeing this, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Center logo, and subscribe. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit the like button. Whether you're a member or not, helps me out on YouTube so I can get these videos out to the masses. All right, here we go. We have SPY. We got our reversal candle here, then a hangman, and then a cloud cover. But we stayed in this full range here. Okay, so what's important now is we're actually starting to break that range. If we can close underneath there, that will be a really good sign for the bears, especially if we get underneath this 8 EMA. We have some things happening here. We have some confluence. So this is the breakout area. So that's what we're testing right now, is a breakout zone. We had some trouble getting over this area. Actually dipped down, gapped down, and then started to move to the upside. We have our neckline here that we put up there. We tested it twice and rejected both times. So everything looks like we got our reversal at this point. Let's take a look at, we have our indicators here. The MACD, it does have a bullish cross. We're in bearish territory. So to me, it could be more of this fake break and we continue to the downside. If this is a 1-2-1-2 setup that we've been talking about for quite some time, then we're going to have to get a crossover. We're going to have to get a crossover and the MACD go lower. No real divergence. We start getting divergence, and I think, you know, maybe we come to this trend line down here a little bit lower. This is the point where we have a huge consolidation area. I'll back up a little bit. We talked about this in many videos. This was our goal. This was our point to hit in the near term, meaning weeks. And we're looking at that zone being next. If we take out this low here, then we want to see what kind of price action. What do the indicators say at these points? You know, are we making a higher low on the MACD or the RSI and forming divergence? So we want to be careful there. But in the meantime, we do have a bullish cross. So we have to respect that. So we did get to oversold. I'm going to move this over here. That's our sell signal. We got to the oversold on this bounce. And we're starting to cross over just now. So that, you know, that could be part of this price action. Why it's so grindy, because we don't necessarily, we're just now getting these signals. And so this hasn't crossed over yet on the slow stoke. So what we're I'll show you in the 65-minute, what we're kind of protecting ourselves against is just one eek to the upside, maybe to test the 100 or 50-day moving average. You know, the market loves to confuse you. So if this were to just come up just a little bit higher, make a new high, just we have to take out these lows here in order for that to be invalidated. But I'll show you. I'll go ahead and go down to the 65-minute right now so we can, and then we'll do the top-down analysis on QQQ separately. Maybe we'll even check out the VIX. Okay, so here's our 65-minute. What we're looking at is just, we're testing these lows, and we want to get below here so we can invalidate the entire ending diagonal point of view. You know, it just scares me that SPY is relatively stronger. It doesn't want to take out these lows, and if this is a 1-2 setup, you know, this thing should break, and we should have a nice long couple of bars here before even getting, you know, another bounce, and we should be getting a nice 5-wave move down. It's Friday, and we have JP Morgan's earnings, so maybe that's what's holding things up and making it real deceptive. So it's still a possibility that we break these lows, but from right here, I do think we have a top in the Qs, but it just appears that SPY wants to creep up, maybe just eke up a 1, 2, and these would be 3-wave moves. 3, 4, and 5, maybe close the gap and then start heading lower. You know, that would be very tricky for traders. And so my game plan is I have SPY calls to hedge my Qs and individual name puts. So we'll see how this plays out. We keep trying to bounce, but kind of rejecting again right now. So on the 65-minute, we broke down from this wedge, but it is possible. It's still possible. Probably not today, going into next week. So still possible that if we draw this wedge a little larger, we want to hold this line right here and start to grind up. Okay. So yeah, I know it looks like it's getting under there. That's fine. We'll see how it goes from here, but I just want to keep that in mind. That's what I'm thinking. So if we continue down lower, great. Our puts are going to work. We're going to do well. If not, fine. We close that gap. I can get rid of that. If we start to go up, I'm hedged, so we'll be prepared to short again. Let's see here on some of these indicators. Again, the MACD, we have that bearish cross, still in bullish territory. So again, it's possible to grind up a little bit more, make another divergence. We have our sell signals all over the place. The only problem is we're starting to get to this oversold territory here, and we could just keep just grinding to the downside like this. But we'll see. This isn't even oversold yet. I think we have some room to go down here. I just wanted to be careful. Everything seems to lean that we continue to the downside, but I just wanted to be careful for that upside, especially on a Friday. You know, we could get that rip at the end of the day or something like that. Just suck everybody in and grind all day, and then just get 2 huge bars to the upside. It did that to us right here, as a matter of fact. I think that was could have been last Friday or so. All right, well, let's go to the Elliott wave count. On the Elliott wave, let's get rid of this. Okay, so here is another thing that I want to talk about. I want to talk about the bulls and the bears here. The bulls, just assuming that we have the top in the QQQs and SPY, assuming we have this top already, what are we looking for? What are the bulls looking for? Most importantly, as a bear, I want to know what the bulls are thinking. And we have, they're going to count this as a 5-wave impulse move up. And they're going to look for a 3-wave move down to the 50-60% retracement. This pocket right here. You have a lot of confluence going on in this area. So they're going to look at this as the point where they're going to go long as a 1 impulse move 1 up, wave 2 back, and then continue higher for an impulse wave 3. And we want to look at that for sure as well. So if we start to get into these zones, even today, if we start to get into these zones, we're going to hedge some more, take some profit, you know, leave for the weekend happy. And, you know, Monday, if we remain bearish today, the Monday is likely to be some sort of gap down or just a little bit bearish as well. And you have turnaround Tuesday. So we'll see. We'll see what happens going into Tuesday. Let's go ahead and jump to Qs. All right, let's go on to the daily time frame. And we're rejecting off this top trend line here, but we're getting to this this area where the 50, 100, and the 8 EMA, and we haven't tested it yet. So, you know, it's a tough spot to just break down through. And so I want to say that we're kind of in that zone where we could be done selling for the day. We're just going to grind. But I just don't know. I don't know. If this is what it's supposed to be, we should just continue lower. But maybe today is not the day. We'll see. Holding strong on those shorts. Now, tech hasn't done anything. We've been sideways. We're in the price action for way back here in June, and we're at the same levels as June. We've gone nowhere, just sideways. So in order to be bearish for our scenarios, tech is going to have to take over. And, I think that's why tech is leading now. I said that a couple videos ago that we're looking for tech. Because IWM, the small caps, have already been decimated for months and months. And the Qs haven't done anything. If the market's going to continue to the downside, we need some leaders headed that way. And big tech is the ones we're looking at. Are the ones. Okay, so we're looking at the MACD coming into resistance here at the 0 line. Again, we could look for a crossover here. The MACD has not gone nearly as far down as it can. So next week, we're probably going to look at a doji candle here if we close low for the week, and that could be a great spot for us to have some continuation and start our, if this is a 1-2-1-2 setup, then we should get real nasty next week. So we're starting to get, we got our sell signal up here with the overbought situation, the conditions, and then we're confirming we have a sell signal here. Not quite here yet, but after today, if we close down pretty low, we should see that that crossover as well. All right, let's go down to the 65. And sorry, the videos are a little glitchy. I'm going to do an overhaul here in probably a couple weeks. So bear with me for a little bit. I'm trying to talk a lot slower, trying to be a lot more clear. That was actually advice from a friend of mine who likes to watch the videos. He said, slow it down and speak English. And so I'm trying to be very, very clear. So we have our downtrend lines, this whole zone. Got into this zone. We had the wedge, top of the wedge, grinded on that for a couple hours, 3 hours, and then rejected from it yesterday. And so we already broke these lows here. So in my mind, we're already looking at this 1-2 setup, and we're starting to grind down on wave 3. For the bulls, they're looking at this, and plus this is a resistance, now support area as well. So I can see why we're grinding in this area right now because of the 8 EMA, 100, and this support here as well. And if you're new, I do have a video on support and resistance, so I'll tag that up top. But we're breaking down from here, and it's the same thing. If you're a bull, you're going to look at this as an impulse move up, assuming the top is in, and I think it is in. If we drew this to where it just barely touched the top of each candle, so technically we have a little bit of room, but the more time we spend sideways, the downtrend line comes down. So we're not gonna be able to unless we spike above it, get above that point. But we already made lows here. This is a 3-wave move, and if this is coming down for a possible wave 2, then I'll show you on this board. Let's go to the Elliott wave. Here's what we'll be looking at. We have let's make sure that I have these lined up correctly. Yeah, so we have the 50 and 60% retracement. And if you're looking at this as an impulse move, you're going to look to get into this zone for much higher levels. Now, if QQQ is going to lead to the upside, it doesn't necessarily have to get down to the 50-60. Maybe, well, SPY seems to be stronger, so maybe SPY only comes down to the 382 and Tech comes down to the 50-60. So, you just have to compare those back and forth. If I turn that 382 on, we're getting down to that level right now. But again, we're going to be looking at 50-60% retracement. If you're considering this an impulse move, you want to get into this zone and start heading higher. Okay, even if you're still counting this, because some people are looking at this whole thing as a wave 4, and I'm looking at this as an ABC. Okay, even the bulls, I know this gets confusing, but even the bulls can look at this being an ABC and still want to buy in the 50-60% retracement, because an ending diagonal to the upside consists of 3-wave moves. So this is a 3-wave move to the upside. Whether you're bull or bear, you're looking for this pullback, and then you get a 3-wave move down. So if you're a bear, you want a 5-wave move down to confirm that that this is an impulse wave down. That's the only difference. But if you see a 3-wave move down, or you can't tell, you got to be very careful coming into this zone. And then if you're bull, you'd be looking for a nice large 3-wave move up for an ending diagonal. Okay, the wave 3 can't be the shortest, but doesn't necessarily have to be the longest either. And then 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up. Okay, so that's a bullish scenario. But as a bear, I'm looking for lows. As a bear, we have 2 scenarios. We have a 1-2, 1-2, and we just continue to just crash. Or we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leading diagonal. We'll probably, if we line this up, since wave 3 is not the longest, then wave 5 cannot continue below 345. So we break below 345, and this no longer can be an ending diagonal, or excuse me, a leading diagonal. But if we find support in here, then we're looking for a bounce again, and then for a wave 2, so that'd be a 1, 2, and then much lower. So either way, we're looking for lower prices, but we'll see what happens in the zone where we have this 62. We're going to have to make a new low, so we can come into this 62, former 38 spot here. So those are 2 things we're looking at as bears. I think those are the most likely situations. We'll be looking at what kind of catalysts will be around. We'll be looking at all sorts of things, the indicators, to see if, especially the Williams R%, we'll check that out when we get down to these levels. If we're looking at some divergences and trying to move to the upside and indicators, then we'll have to be very careful and not be extremely bearish, meaning our trades being massively bearish going into these zones. Okay, so you see the VIX. That's a good reminder. The VIX futures just set off one of my alerts. So let's go over to the VIX. And then we'll just do opposite. We'll go on the 65, and then we'll check it out from the daily point of view. We have Tesla breaking down. My Tesla shorts are working out very well. Okay, so this could be kind of the same thing, where maybe the VIX comes into resistances up here, and it has to pull back before going higher. That would be the leading diagonal situation that we were talking about. So, got a nice little spike there. So we made this impulse move up, and then I believe this was some sort of either a expanded flat, or this was the a move up here, and we just got our retracement. So either way, no matter how you're looking at it, we had our impulse move up, we had a retracement, higher low, and now we're looking to make a higher high. And this could, if this is a 1, 2, this could be possibly a wave 3 just continuing up, and that's what we'll have to pay attention to with the price action being a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup in the SPY and QQQ. Okay. Checking it out from the daily point of view. We're getting above resistance again. This has been a very important part. We can't hold. We've had trouble holding above it. We're back over the 200. Super important. We're back above that 200 moving average. We're back above resistance. Now, will we close above it? We'll see. We had one close. We had one close above it. And then we gapped up and cracked. So we'll see how we handle it now. If we get new highs today, we'll see what happens. I don't know, but we'll be paying attention, and make sure you take some profit going into the weekend. All right. If you've been a bear. So thanks for joining us here at Options Tender. Have a wonderful day. We'll put out a weekend video either tonight or tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. Have a good day.